phone, and I was showing him pictures of the kids and
flipping
using
the
my fingers, making them bigger, and I was flipping and showing him stuff. And he said, "That's a pretty cool gadget you got there." And I mean, it did. That definitely. I mean, he knew it was a piece of technology, something that he'd never messed with before.
And you think about it, in his lifetime,
he went from an outhouse wiping his butt with a corn cob.
Right. That's true.
Literally.
And either a phone that you dialed with your finger, a rotary dial.
Oh, my grandma still had one when we were probably teenagers.
Or you turn the crank and
my grandfather had an old crank phone where you had to charge it up and get a hold of the operator and say, hey Betsy, I need to talk to who's it?
Connect me to what was it like?
Connect me to Cincinnati.
I'd like to.
It'd be like
I'd like
Dalton
to
1-4 or something.
I would just like to talk to the other phone, please.
Well, my mom said when they lived out in the country, it was everybody on that line was basically the phone was on all the time.
Yeah.
So if you lived at the end of the line and picked up the phone and started talking to somebody, anybody that was between you and them could pick up the phone and listen.
Into your
party line, right? Yeah.
So that's pretty advanced for Victoriana.
Yeah. It's true.
So, but you think about in your grandfather's lifetime, things like that. How things have completely advanced.
Right.
To modern day, and you think about ourselves.
We got let's say we've each here got another 40 years. Like, what are we going to see?
Right.
God, I hope I get another 40 years. That'd be great.
I'm telling you, we're living forever. I'm on.
You mean when we download our consciousness into
exactly?
Yes. Become batteries for the robot hordes.
Put me in a robot, and I can go explore the solar system.
Sure.
I think more, closer to our time frame, I think that the advances in medical technology is going to get even more and more advanced. I mean, if you think about, just think about a cardiac catheterization nowadays. Just the stents that they can put in. It used to be they put in one stent. If that didn't take, you're screwed.
Right.
I mean, I've seen cases where there's somebody with 6 stents in one artery. Yeah. It's not practical, but it happens.
It's doable.
Yeah, but and just things like that. Are they going to come up with a cure for cancer? I know that there are many people that are working on it.
Oh, yeah. Well, I could go on another tirade about pharmaceutical companies.
Well, yeah,
nobody's interested in that.
Is that, of course, they've already come up with a lot of these things, and they're just not giving them out.
Well, yeah, but the problem with that is it's always somebody else's job to be altruistic. You know what I mean? Why can't they profit? I mean, I know I'm playing devil's advocate for Satan.
I don't know. I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem at all with a company profiting by the thing that they've developed, but I do have a problem with them sitting on it and not giving it to people
because the treatments
not making it available
money as opposed to cures.
Well, I mean, we could sit on this podcast and not share it.
Well, that would be yes. We'll just do it for our enjoyment.
It might be worse than withholding the cure.
That's all we were doing.
That's right.
But other medical things.
The guy that invented the cure for polio gave it away.
It's a really good guy.
Oh,
he's an idiot.
What's his name?
I don't know.
Exactly. But
nobody's got polio anymore, do they?
That's true.
Incorrect. It's coming back.
Yeah.
Genetics. That's something that's genetic tampering. Very shadow run. You can get to the point where you can have your DNA altered. A lot of cyberpunk is people having the color of their eyes permanently changed, or
gene therapy.
Taboo.
Gene therapy. Yeah, I mean,
there's gene therapy right now.
Yeah,
we're getting there.
Yeah. But think about Warhammer 40K. Think about
yes, I'd like to. Thank you.
Think about.
Bolt gun. I want to see a bolt gun.
No, I was thinking. I'm still sticking with
totally make
genetics.
Sorry,
Sons of Guns.
There was it Ravener or Eisenhorn where the guy was smuggling himself out piece by piece.
That was Ravener.
But then there was also in the
how awesome is that? Thank you, Dan Abnett.
Yes, a guy smuggles himself out piece by piece to be reassembled later.
Who reassembles him?
His medical technicians.
Who took him apart?
His medical technicians. On one planet, he smuggles himself out piece by piece.
That's awesome.
But anyway, yes. Think about 40K universe. There's the gene therapy, keeping them. What do they call it? The juvenate, the regular humans who are stay alive for a long, long, long time.
Yeah. Rejuvenate.
Yeah,
the rejuvenate.
I could see that happening with affluent people being able to do that. I mean, there's already the people who are getting transplants and things like that. Did you know that it doesn't matter You can go anywhere in the United States for a transplant. It doesn't matter where you're from. And there's a lot of affluent people going to rural communities because you get put on the list based upon the need in the area.
Right.
Yeah, that's why Steve Jobs went to like Alabama for his liver transplant.
And that's exactly right.
Yeah.
Rich people are going to
poor
rural areas so that way they can get to the top of the list there.
Right.
Because if you stay in Chicago, chances are you're going to be in a pretty long line. Take that and amplify that. Not just transplants, but keeping you alive longer.
That book, that sci-fi book I told you that I've been reading that. Like, it's just the status quo. It's what people do. Every so many years you go in for the bodily refresh. Or I believe they call it a rejuvenation.
Or another cyberpunk-esque type movie was Gattaca, where people were predetermined by their genetic code, whether they were good for a certain job or things like that, where you were being discriminated by based upon your genes, that kind of thing. I totally see those kind of things happen.
And the immortality technology that Dan's all excited about, we're not rich enough.
What about that new movie with the time where they're...
Justin Timberlake?
Yeah, Justin
also
Timberlake.
known as one of the biggest bombs of the year. And
really?
Apparently, yeah.
It's too bad because he's a five-tool.
He's a five-tool player.
Five-tool player. And it's got Amanda Seyfried in it, which is always a plus in my book.
So...
I seem to remember reading. I'm sorry. I seem to remember reading a short story a few years ago, and I believe it was in Science Fiction and Fantasy Digest. This has probably been over 20 years ago. It was about rich people who were able to alter their genetics for their children, and they removed the genetic need for sleep for their children. That was one of the things that they did.
Could you imagine if you did not?
I'm pretty sure
sleep?
you'd go insane. I saw that episode of the X-Files.
Well, the premise of this short story was because you didn't need to sleep, you were up 24 hours a day. You could study.
Yeah, you could. Be essentially 3 times more effective.
Right, yeah. and in addition to that, they were also making their kids genetically more intelligent, genetically more beautiful and attractive, and physically stronger and everything. So basically, they'd created a ruling class, and it was already
Khan Noonien Singh.
Exactly.
Right.
Star Trek did that a long time ago.
Right. But the main premise of the story was that because they didn't need to sleep anymore, they created a whole new class of human beings that were constantly on the move for 24 hours, while the rest of us at some point had to lay down and go to bed. Yeah. And we had to rest for 6 to 8 hours.
So they
basically
advantage.
Conquered the Earth.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
that sounds like the eugenics wars.
Yeah.
Moving on to other things. What are some other things that people think that will happen?
Megacorps. They're already pretty much happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're there.
What is it? Polinick says in Fight Club. You've got the Starbucks Galaxy.
Yes.
That's essentially what it's going to be. The people with the money are going to fund these things, and they're going to consolidate. Some places already have like arcologies where your entire existence is spent in this one area. You don't ever have to leave.
See, that kind of stuff wouldn't bother me if it was people like the aforementioned Richard Branson. I wouldn't be worried at all about Richard Branson running a megacorp, but he's probably going to die someday, which means somebody else is going to take over.
It's never the person who founds something like that. It's always their children that screw it all up.
Right.
Because they've never earned anything in their life.
When you're handed something, there's significantly less value than if you created it yourself and you don't have that investment.
But yes, I could totally see megacorps.
You know what? I'll take that as okay. Are we talking in our lifetime or
just near future? That eventually we're going to pass up.
Oh, that we're going to pass up. I think whatever. Okay, so we were talking about Shadowrun, the Matrix in the Shadowrun.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure in 15 years we will have surpassed that.
Well, you like Sean said, accessing computers with your mind. I mean, that's the basis for the Matrix. Now it's just getting your consciousness into it. And the newer Shadowrun has the virtual reality. It also has augmented reality.
Yep.
Yeah, we already have augmented reality. You can do it on your iPhone.
Right, but get it to the point where you can get it on your glasses or your sunglasses,
right.
And then you can look at I can look at Jason. I can see his Facebook status, or whatnot. I can see the last thing that Mark
Well,
tweeted.
eventually we'll get to the point where it's not on your glasses. It's a heads-up display in your brain,
in your eye,
yeah. But like I said, there's going to be people apprehensive to cross that line.
Sure, but there's also going to be people that are going to jump into that whole.
They line up for it. Yep.
And I don't remember. It was one of our previous episodes where we talked about television. The TRID is about to happen. The TRID is a 3D television.
Yes,
that's a good one.
Yeah,
yeah.
And that's
Panasonic is still working on that screen,
and they're making it so you don't need glasses.
Right?
Really?
Yeah, that's insane.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so you're going to have a 3D television that you don't need 3D glasses.
So I was looking at a 3D
crazy.
television the other day at Walmart, and I
seen them too.
Awesome.
I know. I was like, I'm buying this.
My eyes don't work with 3D. I'm left
Sad.
out. Now, here's one that I'm kind of surprised that we haven't already leapfrogged, or at least have, is cred sticks. I mean, we have credit cards, but
We have debit cards.
I don't think we're really that far from.
I don't think we are either. I think we're pretty close.
Me and
Europe
you.
is pretty much even off that.
Sean-
They don't have the debit card thing anymore.
You want to tell them about the thing we saw at Archon? The guy that had the thing that he stuck in his iPhone.
Oh no, it's called Square.
Yeah,
yeah,
Square.
it's
Oh,
a
is that what
payment.
it's called?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a payment system. That,
Well, I mean, that's essentially
That's
that we're not that far from
Yeah,
that.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's-
if you think
that's
about
really
it,
close.
What was a cred stick was something that had your money, and how did you transfer money? You put it into their their card or their cred stick reader.
Yeah, I think a cred stick was two. I think now it's two double-ended. One end is
yes.
payment. The other end is receiving.
It was
Yes.
like in the 90s. What was that company? It's a gas station, and it's a stick.
Oh yeah, the Speed Pass.
The Speed
The
Pass.
mobile.
I, as soon as I seen that, I was like, oh my God, it's a cred
Like,
stick.
why has that not taken off?
Let's not
There's-
link to that.
there's
I don't
no-
give them any business.
Yeah, there's no, you don't swipe your card or nothing. You just basically stand in a proximity of the pump,
And it takes all your money.
and it basically does. I mean,
I was going to say it does that anyway.
you don't
You
wanna-
just bought 900 gallons of gas.
you definitely don't want to like walk by the pump if somebody's standing there just
Right,
holding the
bringing
nozzle.
out their stuff on your dime.
They're like, hey, come here for a minute, thank you. Bloom, 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 bloom.
Somebody's little brat kid that's going bleep
Right.
bleep.
Is there a lead box you keep this in while you're walking?
I don't know, but I thought those were like. As soon as I seen that, I was like, "Oh my God, that is
I
Shadowrun."
think they do stuff like that for toll roads.
Yeah, they do. They have speed
Oh,
passes.
yeah.
Speed passes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So you
Now,
just
when I was
drive
driving
through it,
through
and
Nebraska,
yeah, but they put that in your car though. It's mounted in your car. Yeah.
The infrastructure's there.
Speaking of infrastructure, the United States does not have the infrastructure for the Matrix.
it doesn't.
They do, as long as you're not in a rural area.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, think about how fast of an internet upload speed you would need to put your consciousness into it.
I don't want any lag time with my consciousness.
But no buffering. More than likely, like to get internet connectivity to rural areas, nobody's going to lay copper anymore to do this because it costs too much. So it's probably going to be wireless. So they're probably eventually.
What about fiber optics?
That's you still have to lay a physical cable for
Right.
fiber
Right,
optic. So it'll probably be ultra high speed wireless. Man, you're going to have some buffering, but you'll be able to get your consciousness there.
How many gig we got up here though?
In your brain? It's hard to say. What is up there?
I think they're still counting synapses.
I just want to upload the good parts.
Something about Shadowrun that I think we're very close to is some of the weaponry in Shadowrun, if you think about it.
Yeah, like cool guns that
yeah.
shoot around corners.
Like I said, I
We're
could totally
way
make you a
beyond.
bolt gun. I just
I
need
think
the right
we're way
equipment.
beyond the weapons. I mean, now you can buy. Well, it's illegal in Illinois. There's a black powder rifle that you can buy, and it's electrically discharged.
Yeah.
They're illegal to hunt with in Illinois because people were buying them, hooking them up to their computer and setting it on a deer path and going at home and watching their laptop
Wow.
and just hitting enter and it fires it.
Yeah,
I
it's
like
just
it.
efficient.
Yeah.
Much more efficient and warm.
Yeah, well,
That is not hunting.
Yeah. You can
That's not even waiting.
You can remotely,
That's gaming.
You can remotely fire this weapon.
21st century hunting, right there, buddy.
well that and that.
Duke Nukem hunting.
I want to see you two bastards out in the woods with a sharp stick and try to take something down.
That's hunting.
Track it and then
Sharp
kill it
stick,
with a
that's
sharp
called
stick.
an arrow.
I have done that all the time.
But some of the other weaponry.
Do they
I mean,
really have Panther?
Panther assault cannon?
well, I don't know. I mean,
Well, the
What did
Barrett
the
50
Panthers-
could be considered a Panther.
What did the
assault
Panther shoot?
I don't remember.
is
It was a cannon. It wasn't a. It was like a 30 millimeter cannon.
Barrett makes it's not the 50; it's even bigger. It was in production so you could shoot down cruise missiles.
Okay.
It had a much shorter barrel, but it was also a much bigger round. I think that was a 30.
Who was going to shoot this? Steve Austin?
I think so.
Steve
oh, yeah.
Austin.
So it's an elephant gun.
Essentially,
An elephant gun is just a really big shotgun that shoots a big ass slug.
that explodes.
So,
Or like in the
Like what
in-
Elmer Fudd had.
we saw. I didn't even know it was a real thing until I saw another video of it online. Is that insane automatic shotgun that Blackwater makes
Yes.
that Adrian Brody used in the
in Predators.
Alien
Right.
in Predators?
Adrian
yeah.
Brody's about the size of Mike, and the whole time you're watching that movie, you're going, "There's no way you could use that thing."
I didn't even know it was a real thing.
Yeah.
it is.
Well,
that
it's
was
built
just
to
a-
be almost completely recoilless, so
Yeah.
Mike could totally fire that thing.
That was just a prop for the movie, though. That wasn't
No,
an
that's
actual.
a real-
That was the
No, it's a
actual.
real gun.
It is a real gun, yeah. Just in the
I don't
episode
remember.
I watched just here a few weeks back on a show called Sons of Guns, he actually produces a silenced automatic shotgun now, and it's just amazing.
You mean sound suppressed?
Sound suppressed, yeah.
There's no way it's silent.
No,
Right.
but you do not need ear protection to shoot this. It's just awesome.
Getting back to Blackwater. Blackwater is essentially knight errant.
I don't want to link back to those guys either.
I almost went to work for Blackwater.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why not?
Hey, get paid to shoot at people.
When I come home from the desert.
And I think
Paid a lot. But yes, privatized